Hello, 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 everyone out there, YouTube, Facebook, land. What's up? I hope you're tuning in to the second Let's Chat About Love. I don't know, what is it? A series, talk, conversation. It's a chat, right? I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I am super excited about the ladies joining me tonight. We are going to have a great time. It is going to be a great conversation. Who am I? I am Yolanda Gibbons. I am, amongst many things, I am the author. My book is all beat up. I am the author of Let's Chat About Love. If you do not have your copy of the book, I'm gonna need you to go get a copy because it's some great stuff in here. This is my first book. People ask me all the time what made me decide to write a book about, I don't know, my hair's doing stuff, my shirt's doing stuff. What made me decide to write a book about love? And honestly, I know it's no way to say it other than God actually gave me the title of Let's Chat About Love. And I was like, wow, man, that'll be so cool to do some kind of workshop type things with that. And as I began to think about it and began to write, I'm like, this is a whole book. Thus, my book. I'm excited about my book. It is definitely the start of something much more than I even imagined. So just stay tuned and keep your eyes on Let's Chat About Love. So let's get to it. I want to bring in my guests because I'm so excited. We are going to have a really, really good time. Please share, 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 share. Tell your friends about what's going on right now because we're going to be talking about women as it relates to love, particularly self love, and when we have it and when we don't have it, and how that plays out in our every aspect of our lives as mothers and wives and business owners, and in our careers and just every aspect of our lives. So we're going to talk about that. So let me I'm gonna bring them in. I'm doing this like all myself. I'm learning. So I got to make sure I'm doing this uh, right. Uh, yeah, so bear with me. So I'm the host, the producer, the tech person, all that. So my first guest I'm going to bring in is Karen. Hey, Bella. Hey, Karen.
Hey, Yolanda, sister.
Karen is a model coach, model diva. She will have your head spinning on the runway. If you are an inspiring model and want to learn how to model, she's that person. In addition to, well, I'm gonna talk about the other part when I bring the rest of them on. Let me bring on Kaya. Hey, Kaya is the fashion diva, as I call her. She is a stylist. She is the owner, creator, the everything for the Kea collection. She's super dope. She's super dope. Any kind of fashion ideas you need, if you need eyewear, she is definitely that person. And that is just one of many things that she is. And we're gonna talk a little bit about that. So let me bring in next. I'm bringing in. Oh, where she go? The diva of all divas is what I call her. She is the mixologist diva. She is the creator of Drinks by Diva, amongst many things. And if you want a good cocktail, that be her. That be her. She's the person that I argue with all day, every day. We always debating about something. We're gonna do a show about that. And last but not least, let me bring in where she at? My sister, Miss Trina Jackson. She is an educator. She's a teacher. She has been building the foundation, them phonetic foundations of y'all kids out there for 20 plus years. She's a phenomenal teacher. She's also a plus size model. She has been on the runway in Atlanta, New York City, Chicago, a few other cities. So that is Miss Jackson. But parents out there, if you need some support, some assistance on how to get your kids to read, matter of fact, how to get them to act right, Miss Trina, Miss Jackson is the one. So welcome, ladies. I am so excited about you being here. And I want those that are watching to also know that the five of us are the founding members, part of the founding members of Curve Appeal Chicago. And Curve Appeal Chicago started out as part of this national movement. We started the movement here in Chicago. It was a movement, it was a sisterhood to correct the distorted perception. At that time, it was about plus size women, but it came about being about all women. So the five of us were the founding members, and I have to say that we impact we had a major impact. I have to give it to us, and now we have transitioned from being a movement into a nonprofit organization. We've been around for 10 years. At now, new as this nonprofit, we plan to do more work, have more impact for another 10 years. So you can check us out, curveappealchicago.org. We are family. We are definitely family. We are a very strong. This part of my tribe, y'all. We are definitely sisters. If I'm rocking, they rolling. If they rolling, I'm rocking. So I love each one of them. But we're also some dope ass females. That's all I'm saying. We some dope females. We have something else in common, but I'm gonna talk about that at the end before we go. We're gonna get into this chat about love. I think all of us, if I can say, we are very passionate about the empowerment of women. And as we celebrate and recognize Women History Month, I believe that, we may or may not ever make the history books. We may, but we are definitely creating history and making a difference in the lives of other individuals, in the lives of our community. I think in the lives of our families. So we're making history ourselves. So I just, give a shout out to us and saying that we represent this whole movement, this women history thing. Yeah, so let's get to the conversation about love and women. And I'm just going to, you guys know, I don't like to really do the scripted. Um, I like it to be raw and real and authentic. And I kind of, even when I speak, typically I speak just with the vibe and energy and just from my own passion. So I'm going to put it out there. And I don't know, I'm going to let Brandy open up. When we talk about, when you hear, women and love and self-love, just what comes to mind? What comes to mind?
Well, first, I want to congratulate you on your book, Let's Chat About Love. And secondly, I wanted to correct you. It is not history, it is her story.
Okay.
So, just to let you know. So this is Women's History. This is Women's History Month. So it is her story that we are telling, and we're celebrating women. Um, so I'm sorry. Go back and ask your question again.
Just when you think about, and Kay, you can get ready to come next. When you think about women and love or self-love, what pops in your head?
That we don't do enough of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we are selfless and giving and providing for others, but we always neglect ourselves.
Okay.
In regards to that. So
I,
we are the last, when we dishing out stuff, we are the last ones to partake and get portions of.
okay. What about you, Kaya? What do you think when you hear love and women?
When I hear love and women, I don't even equate them being together
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of women don't know how to love themselves. They have
Mm-hmm.
not learned who they are. Have not learned about what makes them happy. So in order to know what makes you happy and what makes you love yourself, you have to know yourself. So unfortunately, sometimes I don't equate love with women because you see so much negativity amongst women, the cattiness and all of that, and that has a lot to stem with having self love. If you don't have self love, then you wouldn't be that catty, or you wouldn't say things, or you would know how to take a compliment from another woman onto yourself. So, um, I don't equate those, unfortunately, together when we speak about women.
Okay. Karen, what you think? What are your first thoughts when I'm talking about women as it in the connection of women and love and self-love?
I think Kaya hit it on the head. I think oftentimes women do not know how to love themselves. They don't, they know how to, they think they're doing it just loving other people and whatnot and going about, but they're emptying themselves out, which leads them to be drained and then they just lose it. I think you have a passage in your book, it's what it's called self death. So you pretty much give so much to of yourself that you just don't, that you're not able to love anybody else and you're not able to give love properly because you don't know love your own self. You let yourself go. You're not loving whom you are, the woman that you are. And some people don't even know what type of woman they are. They don't know what makes them happy. What they don't know anything about themselves, or let alone how to even respect themselves, so that they can be loved or have love.
Right, right. And so, Ms. Jackson, I'm gonna move to you. What when you hear women and love in the same phrase or sentence, what comes to mind?
So after piggybacking off of all my beautiful sisters, I agree with you guys. But then when I think about love and hear love, I know that it's possible. I think about us, how we were a bunch of women that just came together and genuinely love each other. You know, it is possible. You can love another female and be genuine about it. You know, so I mean, as far as listening to all my sisters and what they say, I agree with everything you said. And I also think that it's possible. So I'm on the flip side of the thing. You know, we came together and we some awesome women loving on each other and able to give each other compliments and genuinely mean it and able to genuinely love each other and support each other and don't feel threatened by one another.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think about. I think about it in a verse like, how can we?
Mm-hmm.
Not how, why don't we, but how can we?
Right,
That's what I think about.
right. So in my book, it starts off a conversation, and the conversation, and it's like you're having a conversation with me as the author, or a conversation with yourself. And the first one of the first questions that I ask is, what is love to you? Like, what is love? Do we really know what the definition, or what is your definition of love? I know for me it's the norm. Love is kind, patient, what we know it says in the Bible. I think love is unconditional. But Kale, what is love to you? You're on mute.
I sure was. Yep. Um, um, I was saying that love is everything that you just said. You know, love is patient, love is kind, love is giving, love is love is love. Love is not only a word; it's actions. Um, so yeah, that is what love is to me.
Okay. I like that. Love is action. What about you, Brandy? What is love?
I'm going to agree that love is action. But I do believe that we love with conditions. Um, I have yet to it has yet to be defined that, people always say, oh, I love you unconditionally. No, I don't believe that. I believe with any instance of love there are conditions. I'm going to love you as long as you love me, which is a condition. So love to me comes with conditions, but it is an action. It I always say you can't love should be a word that you say, and it doesn't have a conjunction. It shouldn't be followed with a conjunction, just like an apology. So I love you, and that should just be it. But I do believe that love have conditions. And what those conditions are is just it determines it pretty much. It determines it all. It depends on the people. Let me say that.
Mm-hmm. So, okay. So love does come. You're saying love comes with conditions.
Absolutely.
Is that because I don't know. When you say that, I think because we're human, you know.
I don't think we can possibly love, and this is just me. I don't think we can possibly love without conditions, because whether your condition is, or whether you love someone until they stop loving you, or you love them because they love you, it's still a condition. It's a condition.
Okay.
Like, I love my sisters as long as you're alive. That's a condition. So I can't love you unconditionally. I still have a condition on my love and how I feel about you.
Okay. Somebody action looking at the comments, somebody saying agrees with it comes with conditions. Also in my book, as I'm writing the book, like for real, because I think that, of course I love myself. What? That's what we say. You know what I'm saying? We say that we have this confidence, and I'm one that definitely loves myself. But even as I was writing and thinking about love, and even doing some research and thinking about my own life, I just was like, well, dang, I gotta take my glasses off of this. Do I really love myself? Do I like the way I look? Do I like my demeanor, my attitude? Do I like the way I dress? Do I like, do I feel that I'm worthy of certain things? So just anybody can jump in and comment on that when they're talking about, like, when I was like, man, do I have to like question, do I really love myself? And there I definitely found some some shortcomings. And I'm like, well, I gotta reevaluate and reflect
But
on
that
it.
that kind of goes back to what I said. Loving with conditions. You love yourself as long as until you find a fault with yourself. Until you feel as if though you are not perfect, whether it is because society has this view on how we should be,
Mhm,
of
mhm.
whether, or how your mate think you should look. So you love yourself, but you love yourself with conditions.
So look, you said something. And anybody can comment on that. What role does society have on how we love ourselves? What do you guys think?
A lot.
So a lot.
Lot.
Society, yeah, a lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
Ken, what you say about that? What is? Go ahead.
I say a lot to an individual that is not a strong-minded individual. And I say that only because of me. I grew up in a household with my grandmother and my mother calling me glamour girl since birth, and my auntie calling me Wonder Woman. So I
Mhm,
had words of affirmation. I had words of love. I had words of whom I'm going to be when I grow up, that I
mhm,
had to grow into, to love
mhm,
myself and to be more
mhm,
about more of those women that, or those names that my family had nicknamed me. So
mhm.
I think love starts when you're first born.
Mm.
So if you're not in a healthy household
Yep.
being brought up,
Yep.
that love is not really love. You don't really equate that to love because you're not in a household that you feel love, or you're not in a household with individuals that show you love, or say you're love, or say you're pretty, or say you're going to be an astronaut, or you can do whatever you. Words of affirmation to kids is of the most importance, I feel, because it puts them a step ahead of the game. You know what I mean? If you grow
Right.
up in a household where they're cussing or weed smoking, or things that will deter them from loving themselves, then at the end of
Mhm.
the day, they're not going to love you nor themselves.
Right. 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 Right.
So
Beatrice says that ultimately the perception of yourself shouldn't be how society or anything other than God says who you are and how you should be. Right. You got somebody saying that society portrays that love is on the outside. That's a good point. That is
Mhm.
definitely a very good point, Tamika. She said Yeah, that's a really, really good point. So Karen, oh Trina, was you finna say something? I'm sorry. Who? I thought somebody was finna say something. Miss Jackson?
I was gonna say something a few times, but
Oh,
I
go
was
ahead.
just pretty much piggybacking off of what Kay had said, and I like what Tamika and Demetria said as well. But you do have to love yourself. Like you might grow up like I like what Kay said, how she grew up in a household where she was constantly being given affirmation, right? But sometimes you might not grow up in a household like that, but you got to love yourself within. You can get love from the outside as well. I had a teacher that I used to talk to a lot. She used to call me little Miss Busybody. I used to always talk to her. And then she moved my chair by her. And she began to show me love in a different way. I traveled with her. She became my godmother. You know what I'm saying? And she started at that time, which brings me to a lot of things. But at that time, they used to call me Skinny Minnie. Skinny Minnie. And at that time, it made me feel like I didn't like being skinny. I know I'm jumping off to it, but I didn't like being skinny. But I love myself enough. You know what I'm saying? As I became a full-figured person, you couldn't tell me nothing. I had the love for within myself. So you can get love in your household, but if you see love, you can see love from somebody else's household as well, and love and learn to love yourself just as much. If that makes sense to you guys, you know what I mean?
That's an interesting point because there are a lot of, and so that is a challenge though, to be in a household that was different than Kea, that where you did not get those efforts. Kea, that's a blessing
Yes.
to be in a household to where you are getting constant affirmations that is uplifting to you and that stayed with you. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of us and a lot of people, not that their parents or their guardians or whomever does not love them, but they are not shown that love in that kind of way. And so a question. So then, Trina, talked about she getting it from a teacher. Where how do you move past that as an adult? You did not come from a home where you receive those type of affirmations or nurturing, but here you are, 35, whatever the age is. How do you got what? How do you think you can move from that
First
Well,
things first,
and begin to embrace love?
you have to acknowledge what it is that you're missing in your life. A lot of us go throughout life and feel like we are fine just how we are. And because I didn't have X, it's okay. Be like, well, think about it as work. There's procedures at a job that they give you, and you're like, well, we've been doing this for a long time. And just because you've been doing something for a long time does not necessarily mean that it works or that it is okay. So a lot of us first have to internalize and realize that there is an issue within us to figure out, and then figure out how to fix that by doing something that unfortunately in our community we don't like to do or even talk about, going to seek professional help and getting that counseling to be able to have that conversation. Because I always say a lot of people's issues, and I know they say this in counseling, but a lot of people's issues really did start from their home, their parent life. It starts from the beginning. It starts from within the womb. It is how your mother carried you for 9 months. It is the things that she said to you while you were in her belly that, whether you realize it or not, you internalize that as a fetus and came out, and then you were subjected to everything else that occurs into the world. So first things first, you have to realize that there's an issue, there's a problem, and then you have to go and seek professional help to be able to help you resolve that and work those steps.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that. But also, Yolanda, I'm 22 years old, so want to correct you on that. However,
You what?
22. You heard what I said?
Now I know black don't crack, but
I remember like a 40th birthday.
I just remember a 40,
That was
45.
It was a
Okay.
number. I just wanted
But-
to throw some numbers out.
Maybe
But
she's
go
doing,
ahead on 22-year-old.
maybe she's doing ×2 or something. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, you know, hey,
Plus one.
I was gonna- that how old am I? Wait. Anyway,
Lying. That's what lying do.
you're right. Anyway, also individuals who did not or has not grown up in a household that have love have found what's the word? What's the saying? You're my sister or my brother from another mother, because you went outside of your family, you found that support, you found that love from other individuals and other organizations or other groups of people to fill that gap or that void that you have from outside, from not giving to you in your own household. You found it somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's true. So we are chatting about love. I am the author of Let's Chat About Love. No, we are not counselors. We are not love coaches, relationship coaches, but we are women. We are women that are very passionate about love and the empowerment of women, and really providing some insight on our own experience and hoping to help someone else. So I'm gonna ask you guys a question and hope and ask that you be transparent and honest. Has there been a time in your life where you felt like you didn't love yourself?
Hell yeah.
Most definitely.
yes, yes.
You want to share like a little piece of that, and what was that, and how you moved kind of past it?
To be perfectly honest with you, it's an everyday struggle.
Mhm.
It is something that I work on all the time. And don't get me wrong, I am probably one of the most positive, motivating person to, especially in far as encouraging women to, to love themselves. And I say that, because as I'm saying it to someone, I'm also saying it to myself. But I mean, it's an everyday struggle. And again, and it does go into how society is, because we as women, we're up against a lot. We're battling what, these influencers, the social media, people, we're battling a lot on what the standardize of what beauty is every single day. So it is a struggle every day. You wake up in the morning like, yes, I feel pretty today, but damn, you put on that sweater that you had on 2 weeks ago, and then you try to put that sucker on today and it's a little snug, you'd be like, oh yeah, no, see, I don't feel too pretty today. So every day it's a struggle. Every day I sometimes don't like myself. So it's a battle every day. I may find a new flaw in myself, a new wrinkle that I didn't like, a new mole that is somewhere that is in a very inconveniencing place. So yes, and I know that's superficial, but we are human, so we're superficial people.
Right. What about you, Kaya? And for somebody that comes from a home that appears to have been very nurturing, very loving, very affirming of you as being a beautiful person, a person of value, have you ever felt like, like I'm not liking myself, or had to reflect back and be like, man, I don't, do I love myself? You have to ask yourself the question.
Right. Yeah. Just like Brandy said, it's a continued struggle. No matter how much you love yourself, it's going to be a continued struggle because of, like Brandy said, society has put so much on beauty and what they define is beautiful or who is beautiful, and the influencers that's out there that says, hey, your body type needs to be this way and your butt needs to be this big and your breast needs to be this large. So you constantly looking at your reevaluating yourself, thinking like, hey, do I need a bigger butt? Do I need bigger breasts?
Right.
my back fat need to not show. Yeah, show it, baby, because guess what? That's what makes you you. Show
Right,
it. You
right,
know
right.
what I'm saying? So to answer your question, yes, it is a constant struggle. For me, it's my weight, which is
Can't get
now
on.
um, which is one of my biggest struggles, especially since I had an accident with my ankle and I've been off. Just sitting on the couch, I done gained a lot of weight. I'm looking at my side profiles. I'm like, what's this right here? This needs to go away. So every day is a struggle. But
Right,
at the end of the day, it's me. Take
right,
it.
right. I'm hoping Karen can. I don't know if she can be able to join conversation.
I'm here.
Um,
Not certain if you can hear me or not, but I'm here.
we can hear you. Would you want to add anything?
Um, Coming from a generation, the previous generation, my grandmother was very rough on me, being the sick kid in the family, pretty much. All of my cousins and brothers were thinner, and I was the big girl of the family. And she would use some hurtful words in describing me, and she'd call me, saying as big as such and such and whatnot. So it caused me to have a complex of a sort. But I would watch my mom, who was a voluptuous woman. I just thought she was the sexiest thing on earth. I'm like, oh my God. So seeing how she was juicy and she carried herself so well, I just knew that I was going to be okay. But it still causes a conflict sometimes where, like Kaya says, you like, oh my God, this little roll right here, where this little back fat come from? And getting married, I gotten a little comfortable because he don't mind the juicy. So not minding the juicy.
Right. I don't know. Karen, you having some tech issues, girl. But we're gonna keep this conversation going because we have a lot of people listening and commenting. Demetrius said no fake booties, period. He's so silly. He's so silly. We got somebody on here that says, as long as you are healthy and happy, your beauty will shine through. I love that. I absolutely think that is super dope. So when people ask me why did I do like romantic love, self-love, and then God's love? Why did I do it in that order? And one of the reasons I did it in that order because a lot of times when you mention love, the first thing that you think about is your mate. I'm trying to find love or be in love or get married and it's so much, and it really I think love, that's why I started with that, because that's typically where we start. And in the book I talk about the romantic love, and then I move into the self-love piece of it, because I don't know how we really love someone else if we, and this is a question I'm asking, can we love anyone else if we do not love ourselves?
No, we can't.
Absolutely not.
You can't.
No. Okay. How can you love someone if you don't love yourself?
You set the standards, and you set you're the blueprint of what that love should look like. So no, you can't possibly love someone if you don't love yourself, because it just doesn't make it doesn't make phonetic sense, to be perfectly honest. Because what is it that you love of that person?
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of time people misconstrue love with infatuation.
Yes, that part.
Okay.
Or lust.
Been there. Yes.
Or lust.
Yes.
Okay.
Totally agree.
Very much so lust.
Totally agree.
At this particular point in time, hey, if the sex is good, let's keep it real. Some of y'all, some of us is gone, and we equate that for love and be like, oh my God, I'm head over heels.
And you know what? You said something, Brandy. people equate love to things that don't even go together. Like you putting your hands on me, you hitting me because that's love. You're showing me love. That is not love.
That's not love. Don't hurt. Let's start
Exactly.
that. Love don't hurt mentally, physically, emotionally. It doesn't hurt. That's not love. Doesn't hurt. Period. I mean, like I'm constantly telling that to the younger generation. You know that what he said he was sorry. I said, but he's going to do it again. Love doesn't hurt.
Right, right.
Period.
Absolutely.
It doesn't hurt.
Absolutely. Teresa says that unfortunately, a lot of people out there love others deeply and hard and don't love themselves. So you're loving on someone else with all yourself, with all yourself, and you are not even loving yourself. But you're giving
Well,
your go
But
ahead.
what is it? But what is it of them that you love? And is it really love
Mhm.
that you love? You know what I'm saying? I know it doesn't make sense, but what is it that you love? Is it the fact that they provide a sense of security for you? Is it the fact that you feel protected? Is it the fact that when they beat your ass that you know that they love you because they took the time to hurt you? Like, what is it that you love in regards to that? Because that to me doesn't make sense. Is it the fact that they put food on the table for you that you love? I mean, I get it from a maternal and a paternal sense, but I don't get it from that sense. You know, we love our mothers or our fathers no matter what, no
Mhm.
matter what, because they are our parents.
Mhm.
And unfortunately we cannot choose our bloodline, but we can choose people that we love
Mhm.
or that we fall in love with.
Right.
I think it has to go back to the movie What's Love Got to Do with It. She stayed with Ike because he showed her things. She was not grew up with her mother. So everything he was doing, the lavish gifts that he was giving her, um, and then for him to mentally get in her mind and her brain and say, hey, you're gonna leave me like all the other motherfuckers that ever left me. She was like, oh no, she wanted to be that savior. She thought that she had enough love inside of her that can carry both of them and it'll be okay. And at the end of the day, it wasn't. So I think
But see, you touched on what I just talked about. She loved him because he showed her, he provided something for her. He made her feel like she needed him. I mean, he needed her for whatever reason. So it was something that he gave in order for her. But in all actuality, when she realized that she really didn't love herself, and until she got herself together,
Yep.
is
That's
when
exactly it.
she became stronger.
Yep. One of the viewers just said a big mistake is looking for someone to love you. If you don't already love yourself,
Exactly.
they might make you feel good for a while, but they can't be the reason you love yourself. And we know this, that's facts. So everybody, you probably have experienced that. I'm sure that I have experienced that where somebody, of course, making you feel good and making you feel love, and it's all good, and rah rah, and still there's something missing. You know what I'm saying? They only feel that hole or that void for a short period of time. That was eventually it goes back to like, okay, I'm still not, goes back with being happy. No one can make you happy. If you can't make yourself happy, how can anyone else possibly make you happy if you're not happy with yourself? And I think all of that is part of the love or the lack thereof that we have for ourselves. That's
Absolutely.
why conversations like this are so important. I heard Trina mention trying to share some of this with the younger generation, because I think I think there may have been, I know now today, and a lot probably because of social media, you hear more conversations about self-love. There are tons of self-love books. Everybody's talking about self-care, but I don't remember that conversation as a kid. I said that on the last chat. I really don't remember my mom asking me, do you love yourself?
right.
This is how you're supposed to love yourself. You know, and my mom loved me, was very loving and nurturing and all of those things, but I don't remember her saying to me, do you love yourself, or that you're supposed to love yourself, and this is what that looks like. Like,
Now,
so what does that look like?
so you're right, Yolanda, because I knew my mom loved me unconditional. I knew she loved me, but she never told me all constantly like, "Oh, I love you." So what I did with my girls, I would always tell them, "I love you. Have a great day. I love you." But see, I saw that, like I said, once again, I learned that from a friend I had back then, a good friend of mine. Her name was Kamani. Every time we went over her mom's house when we would get ready to go to school, she always, "All right, girls, I love you. Have a great day." So I'm like, I question, like, why my mom never tell me she loves me? Why my mom never tell me that I have a good day? You know what I'm saying? I didn't never doubt my mom's love. I just doubted why she never told me. So as in return, I have nothing but girls. Girls or boys, it really don't matter. Kids need to be told that. You know what I'm saying? Kids need to be told that. And telling them is one thing, but showing them is another. You know what I'm saying? You need to be told and showed as well. You know that I love you. You know what I mean? I wasn't told that, but I knew my mom loved me. Don't get me wrong. But I was wondering, as a kid, I used to wonder, like, well, why is she not like Kamani's mom? You know what I mean? But hey, I made a decision as a mom. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do with my kids. Not my kids. I mean, everybody know I love the kids. Everybody know that, right? So I love on other people's kids. I took other people's kids, but you got to be told and shown. It's not always about what you say, it's about how you show me as well. Like you say, that goes back to love is not
Action.
it's an action. You got to show it as well. Once again, I keep going back to love don't hurt. You know what I'm saying? Physically, emotionally, or none of that.
Right, absolutely correct. Kaya Shalonda said your curls are popping. She said you looking 22.
Don't give her that. Don't give her that.
Macy Boo, don't do that. Don't
Right.
do that to
She said
her.
you looking 22 with them popping curls.
Yeah, we only have 4 panels of screens. She will take up all of that.
All on the head just gonna go.
All of that.
Oh my
All
God.
that.
Y'all taking the pictures in 8th grade like this
No,
Yes,
I had to throw that
on the mirror?
throw that in
I remember that.
no. I went to Catholic school. We didn't do that.
there. So, what does for a woman? I'm thinking about women, and I love it that Demetrius is on here. We got some males on here, giving their insight. I love that. I appreciate you guys so much. What does love look like? What does it look like for a woman? What should that look like? And I know it's going to be some differences, but Kaya, what were you going to say? What does love look like?
I was going to say a lot of things that what we go through as women, as men, is generational curses. Because what love for my household, from me growing up, was that my mother was strict as hell, but that was love. She did not allow me to go outside, which is why I'm bad as hell now. No, I'm just kidding. So she didn't allow me to do anything. I was a really, really sheltered kid, but I'm the second, well, I guess you could say I'm the first generation here in Chicago. My mother and my grandmother migrated from Mississippi here. So they didn't know about the streets. They didn't know about the crime. They didn't know anything of that nature outside of, growing up in the South, picking cotton. My grandmother picked cotton. My mother picked cotton. So coming here to Chicago, it was, I got to keep my child. But that was my mother's love. You know what I'm saying? No, I did not grow up in a household where my mother told me she loved me. My grandmother all the time. But again, this is a generational, I guess you could say, curse that, I lived through. So my love and my household being told love is totally different because, like I said, my mother never told us, but I lived in a really strict environment. But that was her love.
Right.
Growing up now seeing, because I hated the shit then, but growing up now seeing it, that was her love.
Yeah. Right. Brandy, what does love look like?
Um, I don't
So
know.
thinking about women.
For women, I don't know. I would honestly have to say it's self-care. It, it's all about taking care of self. It is putting self first. And I have to follow that analogy. Like when you get on the plane, the first thing that the stewardess tell you to do is you put your seatbelt on. First you put your mask on first, before you could tend to anybody else. So taking that into terms, if we take care of us first, then we will be a whole lot better in that sense, because the first person we assisted was ourselves.
Right.
I
Right.
know even as a caregiver,
Right.
when my dad was sick and the doctor, and I didn't believe it, but it was true. As a caregiver of a sick parent, you're constantly running. And my doctor had said, he was like, caregivers are the first to be sick. They are the ones who least take care of themselves because they are so concerned about their ailing parent. You have to take care of yourself first. Then you take care of your parent second. Make sure you're okay, because if you're not okay, you're not going to be here to be able to take care of your parent. The next thing you know is that you're going to be off sick somewhere and your parent is going to outlive you. So take care of you first. And so love for me looks like taking care of self first, and saying, I just recently, within the last 3 years, my wife will tell you, within the last 3 years, I recently learned how to say no, because I was so always feeling like I needed to say yes to everything. I needed to show up for everyone. I needed to be available for everybody. So I recently started to say no, and not having any regrets with saying no. Like, no, I can't be there. No, I don't want to do this. And it felt good because I was able to give my time back. I was able to do something for me.
Right.
So love looks like self-care, or saying no in my case.
I like that. Okay. What you say, Miss Jackson? What you got?
Hey, Brandy hit it on the head. Love looks like self-care. You got to love yourself first, and once you love yourself first, you're able to love others. You're able to show love. You're able to give love. And you guys know I'm the most lovable one out of us all, right? So
I think people get a little cloudy. They bring a little cloudy on this talk, this chat. Brain gets a little cloudy.
You didn't have some coffee and some cocoa and something else.
Drink coffee, so
I know she don't. That's why I'm asking. She didn't have something, and it clouded her thoughts.
For real though.
But no, really, seriously, love is self-love first. You got to love yourself more, before you can give love. And like Brandy, she really hit me on the head. I'm learning to say no now. I'm learning to say no, and I'm learning to, I always made myself available for people, but I'm like, man, people need to start. I'm always the one initiating it. I'm always the one. It's that love. I'm showing my love, but I'm not getting it back. So self-love to me is now learning to say no. Learning to just fall back. And that's hard for me because I'm always want everybody happy. I'm trying to make sure everybody happy, everybody smile, everybody, like you say, Brandy, learning to say no and loving self first,
So this is funny in the comments. You're right, Trina. Absolutely. We have to, both you said we have to learn. So one person said, before you feed others, you have to clean your own kitchen first. But then we came down, somebody else said, I don't know what's up with the kitchen and eating. Love is a bowl of spaghetti. Anna, you gonna have to tell us what you mean by love is a bowl of spaghetti.
That's Taylor's wife. That's Taylor's wife.
That's her comfort food. When she is stressed, when things are not going right, she needs some pasta in her life, and I need ice cream. So
that's called emotional eating.
That is love.
That is hilarious.
That is
Um, okay, we're getting close to the end. So we're getting close to the end. We
Well,
want
let
to
me
make
chime
sure.
in.
Go
I
ahead.
think self-respect is
Okay.
what love is for yourself. My
Mhm.
mom used to always tell me, have respect for yourself. Don't be out in the street. Fix this, fix your hair, fix this. She was always prepping me. And I couldn't understand why she was always so strict in prepping me. But what it was is it's just to instill in me that self-respect. And when you have a certain level of self-respect, it brings up your confidence. When you have self-respect and confidence, you show and you absorb your aura. People try to absorb and be a part of your aura and just love what the energy and positive energy that you ignite and send out into the world. So having self-respect, having confidence, just that in itself helps with loving yourself along with the self-care. But the respect portion of it is huge, because
Yeah,
if you respect
I like
yourself,
that.
you know to cover up, and you'll know not to just be out there wilding out when you shouldn't be. So self-respect is a huge part of love.
Man,
Mhm.
Karen, they said 100 on that. It's like you just banged it. You just banged it. That's what's up. I want to ask because we are all spiritual women. Um, what and I always say that my heart is always filled with love, and I do believe that God gave us the greatest gift of love, and I think it is a gift. And we know, you're talking about unconditional love, that is probably the only unconditional love in my opinion. What are some thoughts about God's love and how that even plays out in our lives and in this journey of love? If anybody want to comment on that.
Mm, that's interesting. And we all got quiet.
Right.
Crickets, right? Crickets. I like crickets.
We all got quiet. Of course, he is foremost the first, and it's infinite. If
That's it.
we if we could love like he does, and they always say God forgives you 70 times 70 plus some. We as men, because we have faults, we don't forgive. We don't have that forgiving heart.
Mhm.
And if we took a page out of that
Mhm.
of his book,
Mhm.
then and understood that and applied it to life, we would probably be a greater people.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. I think it's the greatest gift that we have. Somebody said we all went crickets for a minute.
We did. We are like deer in headlights. We was like, hold on, wait.
Like, I thought she said they were spiritual.
We is. we you don't play with Jesus.
We got crickets.
Not at all. We got crickets for
I
real.
like what you said though, Brandy. If we could take a page out of the book and live our life from that page of the everlasting. In my book, I say that God's love is timeless, it's effortless, it's infinite. It is the forever love.
Mhm.
And if we could even grasp that, we can grasp that a little bit in
Well,
our lives, and how we love ourselves. I always think of, we always say, love thy neighbors as thyself. Well,
Mhm.
I don't think the God wants you to treat your neighbor bad. You
well,
know,
here's the problem though.
Next door to me, you might not just kidding.
Here's the problem. You heard what you
kids
said.
on the neighbor.
Right. You heard what you said. Love thy neighbor as thyself. But if I don't have self-love, then I
Exactly.
can't love thy neighbor.
Right.
So
Right.
that in itself
Right.
is God is the only entity that has unconditional love. He loves us despite everything, and he is the one that created us. We, on the other hand, as humans, we have conditions.
Right. And let me say this. I don't know who this is, and I don't this person but I appreciate the person for joining us, says, "Bye bye, fine ladies. You all really made me feel calmer and a little warmer inside. Thank you and best wishes to each of you." That was so sweet. Oh my God.
That was extremely sweet.
That was absolutely, I'm gonna have to figure out who that is. That was absolutely so sweet. Thank you for joining and the comments that you contribute. But right, back to anybody else want to comment before we bring this on in and come to a close. Any comments about God's love and what that means? Gotta believe you deserve it. Somebody said that. I love that.
That's it. Brandy pretty
love
much
is
hit it in a
effortless.
nutshell, and it's effortlessly right, unconditional, right? You hit it
Right.
in a nutshell.
Right. So, this has been an amazing chat. We've had some great insight. I mean, we had a lot of great comments and people following, and it's always appreciative for those to be supportive of what we're doing. Everyone saw themselves the way that God saw them. Nothing could deceive the concept of love. I like that, Demetrius. And I really appreciate you being a part of this. I want to end by, and we're gonna have to definitely do this again, ladies, for sure. You guys, this part, this my tribe. You know, we roll together all day, every day. We are interconnected in so many different levels. Not the sisterhood, businesses. We got a lot of stuff going on. Again, if they rocking, I'm rolling. If I'm rolling, they rock it, and that's how we do it. But I would love for each of you to briefly give some final words, and I'm gonna start with Karen. What are your final words?
Respect yourself. Love yourself. If you do not love yourself, you don't know how to love yourself. Figure out what is wrong. Get therapy. Speak to a sister. If need be, inbox me. I'll speak to you and I'll help you through. But the biggest part of it is pray about it, figure it out, and once you find it inside and start loving and respecting yourself, your mate will love and respect you.
Oh,
Hey, Bella.
I like that. Oh, Karen. Call her my honey bunch, y'all. That's my honey. That's why she my honey bunch. Miss Jackson, what are your final words?
My final words, I guess, love yourself. And when you love yourself, you can give love. And I'm like Karen, if you need to reach out, just reach out to one of us sisters. We always giving love. We always showing you love. You have to love yourself though. You really do. Like real talk. And once you love yourself, you're able to love unconditionally to others. That's what I believe. That's the model I go by. You know, I treat
some good stuff in this book about how to love yourself.
Let's chat about love. You can chat with Miss Jackson about love, but you should get my sister book, and it's all in there. It's all about love. I mean, those are my final words. Let's chat about love.
I love that. Love yourself. That is
Love
it.
yourself.
Okay, Miss Rainey, what you got? What are your final words?
My final words are good morning, gorgeous.
Good morning, gorgeous.
Find yourself with positive affirmations and speak those affirmations into existence. Everyone is gorgeous and everyone deserves to be loved.
I love that. Good morning, gorgeous. I love that. And when we do this next time, that's gonna be our theme song. What you got, Brandy?
Remember, you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and loved more than you know.
I love that. See, didn't I tell you that it was dope? These some dope women. I appreciate you ladies so much. I am going to actually end with a little something from my book that I'm going to read. And it says, when it comes to self-love, one needs to understand self in such a way that it protects him or her from the opinion and expectations of others. Prioritize confronting yourself first and not waiting or allowing other people to judge or give their opinions, because you will provide you with an accurate picture of yourself. On the other hand, be careful not to judge yourself too harshly. The goal is to help bring you to a place to begin to improve and to build self-love. And I'm going to end on that note. We appreciate y'all. Y'all know I love my sisters. I love the viewers. We will do it again. Go out, get that book. It's on Amazon, or go to YolandaGivens.com. If y'all don't know it, four of us are the owners of TGP Thick Girl Productions, and Karen is one of the actors. We have the
I'm
Diary of a
just
Thick
the
Girl
narrator.
Just the narrator. Dinner Theater, April 30th. Look for us. Find us on Facebook. Get those tickets. You see how dope we are. So support us, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Peace.